You have to be an optimist to get into this game. Just going to buy a farm and start a dairy farm makes no sense. I don't know what the success rate is, but it's got to be slim.
Action, here we go. I'm gonna show you what I know. Break it free from the mainstream, the studio machine. I want it my way. Indie Film Nation. I want it my way. Indie Film Nation. Going all the way. Indie Film Nation. You know it's gotta be Indie Film Nation. Indie Film Nation. It's gotta be Indie Film Nation.
Hi, this is Bruce Himmelblau with Indie Film Nation. We're here with Rudd Simmons, the producer director of the first season, and Phyllis, one of the stars of the film. Rudd, your background is mainly as a producer. You're known for Dead Men Walking, The Royal Tenenbaums, and High Fidelity, to just name a few. This is your first time as a director. How did this story come about?
Well, Paul and Phyllis have been longtime friends, and they were over at dinner one night, and they came in, they were all excited. Guys, we've done it, we've bought a farm. And my wife and I, we sat there and we said, oh my God, what are you doing? Everything's going out of business. And we spent the night trying to talk them out of it. The next morning, my wife said, you know, it's a great idea for a movie. And I thought about it, and I thought, yeah, she's right. So I called him up, and I said, what do you guys think? And I didn't think you were going to do it, actually. I really didn't. And then about 3 days went by before he called back. And I said to my wife, you know, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want a friend, anybody coming in and hanging out 24 hours a day. But she called back and said, yeah, we're on for it.
And did he stay on set with you, or what? Or I guess you would call it on set, your home? How long did he stay with you?
Well, he would stay a few days at a time, but he was there a lot, at least every week for a while.
For the first 6 months.
Yeah, a lot of the time. So he was around a lot, and that was really, I think, the delay in the beginning was, okay, we've got this huge project. It wasn't that we didn't want somebody to film us, but we didn't know how much it would interfere.
Wait, you were thinking that you didn't want me to film?
No, we wouldn't.
You never told me that.
It now comes out.
No, I think we were all nervous because they were starting something that was very new, and they didn't know that what I was going to do is basically be one person in a room with a camera, and that's it. And I'm sure that you guys were concerned that I was going to ask for retakes and ask you to do something over again. And I was concerned because I had never made a documentary film before. And I was very, very aware of not wanting to intrude on his privacy. And I was very aware that I didn't want to get in the way. And so in the very beginning, Paul and I talked and we laid out some ground rules.
Yeah.
And we said, you know, you're going to do your thing, I'm going to do my thing. Well, you know, whenever I put the camera on my shoulder, we played a game with the kids. Rudd's disappeared. And the only time I think we broke that was when Paul was fixing the tractor one day, and I noticed that gasoline was spilling out of the tank onto the engine that he was trying to jumpstart. And I said, Paul. So it was interesting because I think we were both a little nervous going into it, but what amazed me is that within 48 hours,
yeah, it was very fast.
We were a team. It was, and that's why when I talk about the film, I never really say this is my film because I think it's our film, and I do, yeah. Because I feel like the fact that you gave me the ability to come into your lives and essentially say, okay, that's Rudd, we trust him. And just to ignore me, that's an amazing gift.
Do you see any similarities between what was going on screen, on camera, and what was happening behind the scenes with your own first time out type experience?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we talked about this, and in the very, very beginning, you know, I said, this is what I wanted to do. I mean, I've always wanted to make a feature-length documentary exactly like this, and but I've never had the opportunity. So I said, you know, this is a chance for me to do something that's really a dream, a work of passion, and it was a chance for you guys to do something that's a work of passion. And what they don't know, and I'll tell you this now, but don't tell anybody. What you don't know is that on the third day, I thought, I'm nuts. This is crazy. The hours are too long. It smells bad. There are flies. And what am I doing? I'm shooting milking over and over and over again. There's nothing here. But I couldn't quit because I had already said, this is like what you're doing, and you were working so hard, I couldn't back out. I mean, I couldn't as much as I wanted to. And that 5 years it took, Phyllis.
I know.
And I'm only now being able to tell you this. But yes, to answer your question, it was very, very much. It was two parallel efforts that were going side by side.
Where are you going with this as a filmmaker?
Well, we made the film, and I'm really excited about that. And I would love to do another one, but I also have a producing career that I want to do. And I've had a chance to work with a lot of great directors, and I want to continue that. For right now, I think what's really important is, having made the film, I want people to see it. Because I think, you know, in a lot of ways, we have this obligation. We spend all this time and effort making the movie, and now we want to spend the exact amount of time and energy getting it out there so people can see it, getting it out into the world.
And you took the film into editing. How much of the editing process were you directly involved with?
Everything. I had a wonderful editor, David Meneses. We edited for about 10 months. David saw all the footage, which was over 110 hours, in real time. And so he had experienced what I had gone through. And what we did is he then put together, the rule was, anything that's good, leave it in. Anything that's bad, take it out. And so our first cut was 6 hours long. And we then worked together hand in hand and really went back and forth. It was a real, true collaboration. It was absolutely fantastic.
And how many rules? I mean, as a producer in Hollywood, you know the rules. How many of those did you break as a director and sitting in and editing all this stuff?
Every one of them. No. I mean, what was interesting is that I think as a filmmaker, what we did is we used all of the, if you want to call them rules, I call them tools. We used all the tools of telling a story on the screen. And I think the important thing that David and I did is said, it's a documentary, but let's not think of it as a documentary. Most documentaries, for whatever reason, are thought of in intellectual terms, that we approach them with intellectual content. Let's approach this with emotional content. And let's use all the tools that a filmmaker has on a feature drama. Let's use those tools to tell our story. And I think the only rule that I broke as a producer is use my own money.
Phyllis, how's this changed you and your family?
I think that probably the biggest change is the self-reflection. When the biggest immediate change, when we saw the first minutes of footage and it was not quite finished, but we actually came home, it was great, and then for 3 weeks we went through this upheaval of everything we had gone through in those times. And really, his goal in making it an emotional experience was, it really hit home, and so it really, we delved in again to all of those things, but I think it really strengthened our resolve to remember why we were doing what we were doing. And I don't think we ever really lost that, but it's always nice to feel like, you know, there's somebody out there watching, and it's, you know, it's a good thing.
That was the scariest time for me. Of the 5 years, the scariest time was showing it to you guys the first time, because you build this relationship during the course of the filmmaking, and I really felt that that would be something, that the film would be something that you would appreciate, but you never know. And so I was so scared going into that you wouldn't like it, you know. But then you sat there, and at the end of it, both you and Paul just took this deep breath, and I thought, it's going to be okay. And then when you called me from the car later, I was in heaven. She called me up and she just said, thank you. And I thought, oh, that's great, and everything's going to be all right. So,
And it is.
yeah.
The inspiration I got out was you're a 30-something producer.
Yeah, right. All right.
And with going into something that you always dreamed of, how did you experience it, and how big was your crew, and where are you going next?
How big was my crew? It was me, and I did camera and I did sound, and a wonderful friend, Matt O'Neill, came for the first week and pretty much taught me how to shoot a documentary film. But I think that was important because the goal of the film was to tell a story in a very intimate way, in a very emotional way. And if I had showed up with even one more person, I don't think we would have been able to have that kind of experience that we had. It was basically one person, me.
Great. It was great. Nice seeing you. You're looking great.
Thank you.
And how's the family?
Everybody's very well.
Great. So look for the film, the first season. We're here at Slamdance, and soon it will be out there. This is Bruce Himmelblau with Indie Film Nation.